Hello. Welcome, gamers. It is Friday, and it is, in fact, the start of the Kenny Jam. There's a game jam, that is going on right now, and I do not have any ideas for it. So I'm guessing maybe, on this stream, we'll try to think up some ideas. Maybe start implementing a game. Okay, so let's see. Kenny Game Jam. Kenny Jam 2025. Welcome Stream Elements, welcome Last Tabaka, welcome Ranmu. Maybe I should pin this perhaps. Got this one right here. Paste. Alright, so basically the gist of this game jam, also welcome Namington, is that you are to make a game based on the theme of power, which is a very general theme that I can't think of anything for. But the catch with this one is you have to use free assets available, created by Kenney, or in this one. But all of these ones are 3D, so I don't think I'll be using these because I don't really know 3D development. But they got 2D ones as well. And you might be like, Wolfie, what is today's image? Is that Among Us? No, it is based on the platformer pack. I specifically drew this because I know that Kenny has this guy. This guy right here. This is a reference to this. It's right. It's literally the same thing. So anyway, I'm going to be trying to come up with ideas today. I don't really know. If I can't come up with anything, maybe I just won't participate. I was kind of hoping the theme would be something more specific. Because, you think of power, right? What can you really do with power? You got power-ups. You could have a thing that collects power-ups. But that's in every game, right? Every game has power-ups. That's kind of boring. You could have power as in, electrical power. You have to connect things to maybe have power be provided or something. You could perhaps consider having the one who pows, one who pows, power. I don't know. Power. Okay, but then what? There's not too much. I don't really know. What if we look up, yeah, you could have influence. Hold on. What about if there, okay, so there's a city. What if we had power? If we were a king, and we were in power of other creatures. How would that be a game, though? What if you could control many tiny guys? You can make them go around fighting things for you. What are some other things that we could do with power? Power as in electricity. You could have, maybe there's a city and then there's no power and you have to recover the power. You have to go to a power plant. That's a thing, right? Power plants, those exist. What about this one? What about this one? Industrial platformer. These things need to be powered. Maybe there's a Sokoban game where you have to connect things. Maybe, oh, what about electricity power? You can connect things and then that thing creates a current, an electrical current, and that thing provides power to something. I should probably be writing these down. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm probably going to forget. Platformer, tower defense. What about power? What about a tower defense game? But you have to power things. Things are originally unpowered. Wait a second. You know how there's tower defense games, but then these things shoot automatically? What if these things start off unpowered? and then there's like mobs coming in and you gotta like, oh no, the towers aren't working, and then you are a character walking around and you have to like collect things to provide power to these. I'm gonna write down some notes. You gotta be writing this stuff down. Where did I install Godot? I installed it somewhere. It was in the C drive. Program files, Godot, I got Godot beta 3. Alright. Welcome El Vincenzo 7. Mandela Day. Is that a spoiler? We should not be knowing what day it is until the end of the stream. Welcome Stanley. Okay, we're gonna create Kenney Jam 2025. It's going to be in documents / Godot. Okay, Kenney Jam 2025. We should also start writing down some examples, some ideas, you know. Ideas document, tmux attach. All right, you gotta go backward. Kenney Jam 2025. How long have I game dev? About 3 to 4 months. None of these are actual games, by the way. There's only one of these things that are actual games. It's Celeste, which is actually not Celeste. Everything else here is just an example. Fishing, that's in progress. I don't really know what kind of game that's going to be. But okay, we have Kenney Jam 2025. Let's make a thing for ideas. Oops. Ideas. Whoops. Rename this ideas.md. Okay, so we have ideas. Power. Okay, so, power as in control things, like, what am I saying? Control things, influence, power, influence. You could have electrical power, connecting wires of some sort, perhaps a tower defense game where the towers are not powered. Maybe. You could also help me by looking at assets and coming up with ideas. Scrabble. Is there anything power related with Scrabble? Letter tiles with power? Power. Any synonyms for power? Powerfulness, ability, office. See, there is one obvious thing you can do with power, is those games where like you start off and you have no abilities. You have to unlock the power to move left, you have to unlock the ability to jump, you gotta unlock the ability to, you know, open the menu, things like that. It's another type of power. Welcome Old Man Diabetes. But I don't know, I feel like that one's too obvious. Power-ups, you know, gradually. Welcome Ultra Chakar. Power, though. Ooh, exponent? What about math? Math power? What if we had like a game focused on math exponents? That's a power. Minus world power, major power, superpower. Superpower. Superhero with powers. That is a possibility for game idea. Business leader. King. Kings do have power. Top executive. Businessman. Causal agency. Antonyms: inability or powerlessness. What would I even have? Imagine I go through this entire stream without having come up with an idea. Wouldn't that be cool? Come in here and be like, can't wait to see what Wolfie's developing. And then I'm just like, power, Austin Powers. Oh, what about Austin Powers? What's up with that guy? Platformer. Hexagon tiles. Tappy plane. Really makes it think. Really causes you to consider. Platformer art. Platformer bricks. Okay, do they have any assets here that could be related to electrical wires? Because that is a way to provide power. Cursor pack, googly eyes, power, power like the Uma Musume stat, power. Oh, hold on, runes. Runes do provide power, but what could I do with those? I don't even know. Not even sure. Platformer with food. Player is a cat unplugging. Wait, that's a good one. Cat unplugging things. I've played several games that are kind of like that. You're like a cat going around just like ruining things. I don't know if Kenney has any like cat assets though. The thing with this game jam, you have to use graphics provided on this website. Do they have? I expect payment. This is a free game. This will be a free game. It's literally free. Power though. Do they have any wires? Tiny battle. What about this one? Tiny battle. Yes, it does need to be assets from Kenney or K-Kit game assets. But K-Kit is mostly focused on 3D things, which I have a little experience with. So I probably will not be using this, but it must be Kenney assets. Welcome A Poland. I will not, in fact, be doing that. Welcome to Maya. What about the— oh, this has power lines. Hold on. No, these aren't power lines. These are ski lift lines. Is there anything I could do with power here? Maybe I should pin a message that's not just the link to the game jam. I should be like, we're making a game for Kenney Jam 2025. The theme is power. Here, maybe I'll post. We are participants. I'm trying to think of ideas for this game jam. Trying to think of ideas for Kenney Jam. The theme is power. Paste. Kenney Jam. Theme is power. No, I pressed down. Okay, here we go. Being evil, using wealth to bribe people. Yes, that is. What about being evil, bribing people with money? That is also a form of power. Monetary power. That's a type. What if I just look up types of power? What are some varieties of power? Welcome, pandas. Coercive, reward, legitimate, expert. Expert. Referent and informational. Power. Legitimate power. Welcome, Defin. Thank you for the 3 years. Holy frick. Welcome, Soli_channel. Slap the monkey, but it's a roguelike. But what is that related to power, though? You do have to slap the monkey with a lot of power, though. That's a thing. Power, as in like physical strength. That's a type of power. Yeah, the power of the slap. Power of friendship. That's a type of power. Did I welcome Hamp? I saw you wave and I may have greeted you, but I don't remember. True ultimate power. Being a hacker to gain information. But how is that power though? Bouncing light off mirrors to hit a solar. Ooh, solar power. Bouncing lights off mirrors. Yeah, power-ups though, that's a thing. We already have that. Power-ups. Knowledge is in fact power. Welcome, Slime Molder. Knowledge is power. Charisma. Informational power. Transferring mechanical power with gears. Yes, the theme is power. And specifically, we have to... It has to be made with assets from Kenney. I mean, hold on. Pixel platformer, industrial expansion. This is like a power plant, you know? They've got power here, right? Power the character from Chainsaw Man. So true. The rate of change of work. Industrial puzzles. Power, though. Power? Power. I hardly even am aware of what to make this game about. Tiny dungeon. Monster builder. Pack. Board game. What if we made a board game? A board game? I feel like games should not be bored. You should not be bored when playing. He doesn't even understand that board games are not supposed to be boring. Power Space Fantasy. Cards? Isn't there a board game about power? Probably. What about this one? What is this? There's a lot of assets in this one. Power. What can we have here for power? There are multiple games about power plants. So true. Power plants. Fafa is they. Baba is you. And Zendaya is Michi. Power-ups. Cards. Rolling ball assets. The powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. They probably don't have mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Power 1. Wait, you know what else is power? 2048. Powers of 2. That is in fact a thing. Mitochondria. I don't know if they have mitochondria related assets though. That's my... Yeah, they probably don't. Parasite Eve 3. I don't even know the first one. Power. RPG Urban Pack. These guys have power. Powers of 2. I could do powers of 3. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Sports pack. Platformer characters. 3D 2048. Powers of tree. Power... I hardly even know. Tower defense. We could have a tower defense game. What about these generic items? Some of these require power. Cell phone. Camera. Power of prayer. Power of... Jumper pack. That's not it. Shooting gallery. Voxel pack. Puzzle pack. A puzzle game involving power. Y'all, you ever played that game called Pipe Dream? It's like you have to connect pipes to do something. What if these were wires? These things could connect. They could be something. What did I just say? What was the name of that game? Pipe Dream. But it's wires. Wait, hold on. Types of power. Solar power. Solar power, electrical power, wind power, nuclear power, geothermal, hydro power, cable management. Wait, cable management. Nuclear power, though. How would I don't even know the first thing about nuclear power. Wave power. Particle acceleration. Particle acceleration. Nuclear power. Wait, Nubby's Number Factory. Isn't Nubby's Number Factory power? Because, like, you are Nubby. And you have to, like, power a thing, otherwise the sun explodes. You're, like, working at a place where you have to, like, power various things. Could we make Nubby's Number Factory? Hold on. Nubby's Number Factory. Bioelectrical power. True. So true. Advance Wars? What if we made Advance Wars? It's hard. This is hard. How do people do game jams? I don't understand. There's like so much stuff you gotta think of. It's not just the idea. You have to like also make a game. Power lifting. Nubby is like a neutron because he splits things in half. True. Actually true. Animal. Can we have like animals? Power? Power animals? Monkey? This is the monkey that Soli_channel was talking about. A monkey. Tower defense, game icons. Hamster running on a wheel. I don't think they have those graphics though. Hold on, just got pinged on Slack or something. Did I welcome Orfish? I don't think I did. Hold on. Well, I don't know. It's Friday. It's Friday. Whatever, you know, they can deal with it. I'm doing stuff. Okay, so, let's see. Advance Wars works, make it about power of money. Yeah, but do I want to make an Advance Wars game, though? UI pack, space shooter, tappy plane. Platformer art. This is hard. Welcome Infinite Zero, a Plants vs. Zombies game. We have to manage energy generation and defensive structures. Yes, that would be related to tower defense game. Tower defense game, you have to power, generate electricity, generate energy. Okay, what if I look at my list of game ideas that are unrelated to this game jam and see if we can make any of these? Right, web fishing clone, no, probably not a fishing game. A one-button platformer game. Could that involve power in some way? Napawa could have a contour. I don't know what that is. What is that? Jump King. That is a game. A Vampire Survivors-like game. I heard that Vampire Survivors-like games are pretty easy to make. Would I be able to make a Vampire Survivors about power? Vampire Survivors? I mean, you do get power-ups, but that's kind of obvious. It feels way too obvious. Other game ideas. Platformer, puzzle platformer. block pushing game. Delivery game like Death Stranding. Space Invaders. Shoot 'em up game. 2048. Peggle or Nubby's Number Factory. But pinball. What about pinball? Did I make a pinball game related to power? North American Water and Power Alliance Super Interest Mid-Century Proposal. I don't even know. Played a newer Winter Mall version. It's an old tower defense type, one of the factions, something. How could we make a pinball game themed on power? Pinball game where you need to hit the obstacles to make a power to flip the flippers. You could provide power. What if you were playing pinball, but then the pinball machine didn't have enough power to flip the flippers, and then you have to like do something to power it back up? What if the pinball board was a city or something? And you would be powering... Wait, what if your ball could power up objects? They do have a city pack. City... Pico 8 City. I think they have another one. Where is it? Where's the other one? The ball lays down power lines. You need to aim the ball at buildings. The ball is an electronic, and you have to program the pinball to bounce correctly. A Zachtronics-like game where you program things. RPG Urban Pack. This would be something. Platformer pack. Top-down shooter game. Roguelike Modern City. Okay, so they have a few city-related assets here. Could I make, let's see, which one of these? Okay, power, though. RPG Urban Pack. The inside of a power cord is a bunch of pinball games being played with electrons. True. Actually true. Roguelike Modern City. Puzzle pack. Pinball. I kind of like this one. But how would I provide power to things? How would I indicate that things need power? It's hard to determine how to do things. Alien UFO pack. Roguelike RPG pack. Wait, there are a few games that we played that involve you being in a lighthouse, and you need to like periodically power the lighthouse, otherwise like the ship crashes. Electricity grids. Okay, what is this one? Isometric city. Stopping power, staying power. Smoke particles. Platformer stuff. They had like one thing that was like a 1-bit graphic. It was like this one. Could this one have power? You got a little creature running around. They have you got some fans. Those things are spinning. Is this anything? Dungeon of Endless has a mechanic for powering rooms. But powering in what way? What about overpowered? Powering. Pixel vehicle pack. Power. This is hard. Particles. Platform. Platformer pack. Space shooter. I kind of like the pinball idea because like I came up with it. How would that be? What about pinball? But it's what if it's 2048 except pinball somehow? Hold on. How does that even make sense? It doesn't. Powers of 2. So like what if you had a... There's like a helicopter outside. There is a... What was I saying? You got pinball, right? There's pinball. There's like a ball. And then you got like 2. And then this thing is 2. And then you gotta launch the 2. You try to hit the 2. And then it becomes a 4. That's powers of 2. and then you get like another one. It's another 2, right? This isn't really pinball. This is Puzzle Bobble. Hey, what if Puzzle Bobble if it had powers of 2? Does that even make sense? 2048, but it's Puzzle Bobble? Or Bubble Bobble, I don't know which one. So this is like a 2. And then if you have a 2, this is Suika game if it was different. Right, you can launch a thing. You have a 2, right? You have a 2. You launch it and then it becomes once it hits this thing, it becomes a 4, right? And then you have another one, and then you gotta like launch. Oh, my message got unpinned. I thought I had pinned it permanently, but it was deleted after 20 minutes. And now it's okay, it's still on the screen. Manually unpinned, okay. Alright, so you got 2, you launch the 2, it becomes a 4. This is now a 4. And then the 2, you have another 2. And then you gotta like launch it here. But then what's the challenge though? It's not even challenging. I don't even know. Ow. Elichiad would fit with the power theme. What is that? Elichiad. Voxel pack. Rogue-like indoors. Well, indoors does have power somehow. Elichiad. What is it? Elichiad. Power. It's a hard one. Powered doors. Powered doors. What would that be, though? What am I doing? Power. Alec Head, okay. Alec Head, a platformer about a little battery man that powers surfaces he touches. What if we were a thing providing power? What about like shut down, power off? That's power. What if there's like a virus on your computer? You gotta power it off before it consumes all your files. Power off the computer or devices. The game, no, not the game is the virus. That's not allowed. That would be malicious content. That would not make sense. What if we made an incremental game? Everyone loves incremental games. Power. What if you were a king and you had the power to have people do things, and then they could gather resources, and then the clicker you gotta click. What if you started off the game as someone who had no power, and then there's a thing you gotta click many times, and then you can hire people to click things for you. This is literally Cookie Clicker, except you then have more power. And then you could be like, okay, now they're collecting things for me. Make a Sierra game. But how would that be related to power? Yeah, power from Uma Musume. That was one of the first things I mentioned, actually. Power. I don't know. It's also possible that if I can't think of any ideas, I will simply just give up and not participate in this game jam. Welcome Low Efforts, welcome Chokujax. Chokujax, I've received 6 copies of Kira-san Black in Uma Musume. I have so many. That's more than I need. I have 1 more than I need. It's true, it's real. Increasingly ridiculous moon logic puzzle. How much money? I spent no money. I didn't even reach 200 pulls. I got 2 of them in the same 10 pull twice. You can do a welcome extra. You can do a Balatro clone, but power generation themed. I'm not sure that I would be able to make a good Balatro like game. Would I? I don't know. Would I be able to? I could easily do it. You only have 30 hours. Is this 30 hours? No, this is like 4. How do you do math? This is 42. Okay. Themes if you want to. Efficiency, green, transmission. Power. What if you made a roguelike raising simulator about increasing your character's power? Like Uma Musume. Welcome, Whatsabuts. Raising simulator like Uma Musume power. What about a roguelike deck building auto battler game with power related elements? Perhaps. Pixel platformer. I feel like there's something we could do with this. It's like power plant. Power though. Powers of 2. Board game info. Picross if it was powered. Electro cards affect the output of a circuit. Circuits do have power. What about a circus? Circus power? They do public domain art, yes. You have to use assets from this. Game where you're a robot, you have to avoid running out of power. Robot needs to avoid running out of power. Wait, this is kind of like End Step Steve. If you remember that game. End Step Steve. Steve can only move a certain number of steps before dying, and so this is kind of related. And that was a fun game. Pipe turning game with wires? Yeah, I have that idea. Pipe dream. Stat raising sim where you have to complete Picross in a limited amount of time. If you fail, your character dies. What the? Welcome Ram to Ember. What are you talking about? Why would you say that? Why would she say that? I only stole 6 of them. I was like, oh cool, I have 4 of them, and I can get the 5th one if I just roll 200 times, you know, for the guaranteed. And then I got 2 of them in addition. Now I have 6 of them. Game where you play as Choco Jacks and make use of dog power? That's not a thing. The one button platformer could be a good idea since this is relatively simple. But how would I make that powered though? A one button platformer with power related elements. Oh, what if you could only jump once, but then you can collect power, and that power allows you to jump another time? Yeah, limited number of jumps need to collect power to continue jumping. That's a thing. There's a Mario game where you need coins to jump. Mario ROM hack. You have limited power, but you need to jump. And it's like the dinosaur game. You know the dinosaur game when you're offline on Google Chrome? That dinosaur needs to jump. But then like what if he did not have power? And then because that guy has no power, then he dies. Power? Any powers here? Platformer with power. What if you had the dinosaur jumping game and you harvested their jumps to power something? What if it was an incremental game where you are this dinosaur and you jump over obstacles, and then for every obstacle jumped over you get 1 point, and then you can spend those power points on more dinosaurs, and then those dinosaurs could help get you more points, and then man, I don't know. I just don't know. But you could take this platformer character. And then, oh wait, you know what? Food is power. If they could collect food, and that food, you know, food is power. It provides energy needed. Provides power. Dinosaur power. Welcome props, not Jack. Clone of EVO. You're a robot who is building and improving themselves, and power is the currency. This is like vacuous short request power-ups. Yeah, but like I already did that though. Number 36, which one? Robot needs to avoid running out of power. Surely you've played EVO. I have not. I don't know what that is. Evo, isn't that the fighting game tournament? You have a second dino and then have to play 2 games at once. You have to play 10 different dinosaur jumping games. What if for every platform you jump over, you have, it's multiplied by 2. You have 2 power of 2. Game where you wake up hungover, you have to power through work, dodging emails and calls. Powering through a task of some sort. Perhaps. Power. Pixel. Okay, let's look at some pixel platformers. Can I use any of these for anything? What if you're like BMO? You have to change your battery by removing it and falling on top of the other one. They do have a graphic that is similar to BMO. There's like a little Game Boy guy that you can control. Wait, what about brick? What's in this brick pack? That's nothing. Where was that guy? The power, and then you take off your eye patch to unleash the Sharingan? Sharingan? Where was that? I was looking for something. I don't know, I can't find it. We have many ideas, but I don't know about any of these. There's nothing that like is like, oh yo, that's like a, you know, amazing idea. A power of 4 Kita-san Black. I have 6 of them, okay? 6 of them. I'll have to like sell one of them, because if you have too many, the only thing you can do is turn them into shoes. It is a weekend game jam, it is, but like, what do I do though? What am I doing? Imagine a lamp, his cord is only so long, you can disconnect from it and get too far away from an outlet. I don't know if they have any like lamp assets though. It would have to be something from like some asset that they have on the website. Wait, these things have power. What are these? They got switches. There's like lasers. Lasers are powered. Power. Ideas. Powerlifting, cable management. I do have some experience with the rope simulator though. Rope physics. Cable, we could do something with cables. But I don't really know what. It could be jumping. Cables. The power of water is its ability to take any shape. True. Colony sim, all hamster power plant, lasers and switches and mirrors. Maybe. How about a game where you try to find things that give you power to continue life? If you run out, you can't deal with the pain, and that's too depressing. I don't think I want to do that. Look up laser light. Is that a game? Blaster. Is it this one? Oh, the one you have to like aim and like shoot lasers at things? Yeah, we had something like that, right? It was one of these. Mirrors? Solar power. Bouncing light off mirrors. That is a thing. Do I want to work on that thing though? This is the issue with me, is that I don't... I look for suggestions, and when people suggest things, I'm like, yeah, that could work, and then I don't actually do anything with the suggestion. This is why I should not be streaming this. But I am. Power. Let's see, power. Xbox Series power. Imaginary power and real power. Wait, what about, yeah, power, like e to the negative pi I? Power. Helps with thinking of ideas. True, true. What if like I come up with no ideas on this stream, and then, you know, between today and tomorrow, I'm like, oh, wait a second. This idea was actually really good. And then tomorrow I finish the game in 7 hours. It could happen. What if I steal someone else's idea? Can I... Is that a thing? Can I just like check other people's? Am I allowed to do that? Community. Team members. Submitting your game. Custom assets. What is allowed? What do you mean by power? It's up to you to determine. Power can mean a lot of things. It's open to interpretation. 95% of all games are about power in some way. See, that's my issue, is that this is too broad. Welcome, Porku. What if you simply create Picross but with power-ups? But then, like, how? Energy over time. How? Hamster wheel. I don't think they have like a hamster wheel asset though. I feel like there could be something with the food. We could do a platformer. Food gives you power. What if I just submit vacuous sugar quest and pretend that I... Oh no, I can't because it's not using their assets. Pilato is written in Lua. Yeah, it's using the Love 2D engine. Would it help just opening Godot and creating a node? Pollock style, move the mouse where your hand asks you to? I mean, I could, but I feel like I would need to like know what I'm doing though. Power. So food. You could obtain power from food. It could be the one button platformer. Welcome, Kozes. Where you can collect food. The food provides you with power to jump, and then it gives you a limited number of jumps, and then if you don't collect more food, then it's something. What's with the Wolfie Doodle today? You missed the entire thing. This is literally a reference to this guy who's on screen right now. This fellow. It is a reference to the Kenney character. This guy right here. That's him. Or her. Or them. I don't know. It's a space helmet? Yeah, it's a space guy. Alright, Pico 8 city. Okay, what if we had a city he didn't even recognize? See, real Kenney knowers understand. Okay, what if it was this? If we used this somehow, and then you could, I don't know. Kenney is the guy who made these assets for free. It's literally free, man. Free man, isn't that the guy from Half-Life? Power. I don't know. I just don't know. I simply just don't know. What if you made a Lemming style game where you have characters that move automatically? And then you have to stop them from like jumping off? Maybe. Welcome, Diego. I'd love to make a game for this jam, but read with a Scottish accent. Kenney, I'm also diabetic. Joking. Is that a reference to something? Is that a Scottish reference? Oh, I understand. That's how they say I cannot. Power a grid, spin a wheel to generate power. Fake bills to something. 24. I like the 2048 idea. I don't know what about it though. 2048. Everyone has mentioned power from Chainsaw Man. I have not watched or read Chainsaw Man, so I just don't know. I'm gonna drink water though. Oh, this is the guy I was talking about. This is the guy that looks like BMO. And actually, spoiler for tomorrow's art. Tomorrow's art is this character, but it's me. Can't believe it. Okay, I'm gonna drink water. Alright, I've hydrated. It's the guy from Adventure Time, which is BMO. It's literally him. It's literally him. Windmill builder. What if this, what if you were this guy and then you constantly run out of power and then you need to like collect things and they give you power. Have we considered that? Legally distinct BMO. What if these things were power? But then what? But then what? What if you had limited amount of power and you must be out there jumping the Game Boy console with the face? I mean, yeah, but look, the buttons are reversed. Usually the button is on the right side and on the bottom left. So they're different, okay? They're different somehow. There's gotta be something. I swear, like at some point I'm gonna be like, whoa, wait a second. That's I should do that right now. I should work on this idea. But I have not gotten that spark of inspiration. Inspiration, just like in Uma Musume. Remember when you were a kid playing Game Boy in the back of your parents' car and you had to play between streetlights? So true, they did not have a backlight. Yeah, spark of inspiration. Glue. There's gotta be something. See, this guy literally has like a battery opening in the back. Right? There's gotta be something with power here. Is there anything? Is there even anything? Or am I simply washed? Platformer, abstract platformer. No. Have you dabbed into the physical definition of power joule per second, a rate of energy transfer? Yes. There is some amount of energy that must be transferred. What about aliens? They have power, right? Wait, what is robot pack? Robots need power. What if we had robots and these robots needed power? You could also talk about politics, political power. A robot. A robot of some kind, perhaps. Puzzle pack 2. Oh wait, this is literally that thing. Money is power. Money is power. We talked about that, right? Money is power. Welcome, Nutritious. What was in Puzzle Pack 1? Puzzle pack 1. Oh, it's gems. Power. Money. Money is power. Power is power. To raise something to the next power. The power of friendship. The classic thing known as yellow paint. Yellow paint gives players the power to know where to go. Poser gets a W. Power becomes power. What about shape characters? Welcome, Classic Carabel. Power. Power. What about this one? An isometric game. Scribble Dungeons. Classic. What about the new Carabel? I don't know. Poor, like the T. That's different though. Have you thought of tetration? Sequential powers to the same number? I have thought about number powers though. Numeric power. This guy has power. He's got a gun. You can shoot things with a gun. Pixel shmup. There's power. And then what? And then what? Rolling ball assets. Power. Scribble platformer power. Dude, I don't know. Okay. What if I just start making a platformer, and then I will just somehow shoehorn the idea of power in here somehow. Do you know how to do string physics? Maybe one where you grab a power cord and have traverse an obstacle course labyrinth with optimal trajectory with the cord that might not be long enough. I think I have seen a few games like that though. I guess it would be possible. It's not too much of an original idea. Unless, what if it was a platformer? What if this guy was connected to a power outlet? Because the batteries ran out. And then if you go too far, we talked about this, a robot that can't go too far from a power outlet. And then you can only run so far. But then how do you continue moving though? That's the thing. I don't know. How do you even get out of that situation? Because as soon as you unplug yourself, nothing. You will simply die. You have to plan your path carefully to get to the next outlet. Oh yeah, your battery starts to drain. True. You could in fact do that. Is that challenging enough? There's a game about this in Nitrome, Rustyard. What is Nitrome? Isn't that the Discord thing you pay for to use emotes? That's a joke. It's simply a joke. Alright, let's just start making something. I don't know. Let's make entities. Player. Create new scene. It's going to be player.scene. And then we gotta download a file. Download. Don't even. I've downloaded this. Copy. Go copy download link. I'm gonna go. Where did I download it to? Where's my downloads? Platformer pack. Okay, we got many things. Welcome, Deep Freeze. Platformer character. pack. What the frick? Okay, this is 2x size. And then you have the tile set. Jam has in fact started. Alright, so we have Kenney Jam 2025, entities, player. Okay, you copy these two to here. And then, alright, so now they're in here. Am I gonna pull an all-nighter? Heck no. Of course not. Am I gonna do it all live? No, I'm gonna end my stream at the usual time and then do some stuff off stream. And then tomorrow, if I am still a fan of this idea, I will continue working on it on stream at the usual stream time. If I can't think of, if I don't think this is a good idea and I'm like, this kind of sucks, then I'll just give up. And then I'll just do the usual Variety Saturday stuff. I don't know. Alright, so let's change this type to character body 2D. And then you gotta have a sprite 2D. The usual Variety Saturday, but with haunches, that doesn't make sense. Power Wolfie with coffee and energy drinks. I don't even drink those. That's not even a thing that I drink. Alright, so we have a character, right? Character texture. I think you actually have to go here. You have to do new atlas texture. And then the atlas is this guy. And then you have to say that it's a 4x2, I believe. Where do I set that? Maybe it's not atlas. How do I do? I probably should have figured out how to do this. Not center. Region. What is region? That's not what I want. Gotta power the what? Yeah, oh, that's it. Power through because like, you know, because like you don't know. Simply because you just don't know. Alright, texture, offset, centered animation. Animation, oh, this is what it is. Okay, so we have 4 horizontal frames, 2 vertical frames. I've done several jams. What were the themes? What were the themes of the jam? Alright, so this is actually my first time working on a game that is not pixel art. So it is a bit strange that I can move things around and not have them be like aligned perfectly because the scale is so large. Alright, so we got a sprite, this guy right here. Let's add a collision shape. Collision shape is going to be this. Oh, this is so weird. The collision shapes are so small. How are they so small? Okay, so it's like this. It's about this wide. Change the transform to be 0. Alright, so it's here. And then you gotta also have the bottom part. It's gotta be like right here. And actually could be a bit smaller. Welcome, Zoe. You could do a breakout that's power related. But do I want to do that though? Is that a thing that I want to do? Alright, let's add an animation player. What's the prompt? There is a pinned message in the chat that has many details. Alright, so this is going to be the idle animation. And you're going to have playback options. What do I do here? You go to the sprite 2D and then you gotta set the frame. This is going to be the frame Why did it switch to 1? It should be 0. Wait, what did that do? 0. Plus current frame to display. Oh, I see. Have you thought of the life of a Game Boy console when there's a prolonged blackout ticking away? Yes, that has happened to me actually. Many years ago when I think I was in high school, or like, I forget. There was a big blackout in New York City. And I remember very specifically that I had my Game Boy Color. Sorry, it was my Game Boy Advance SP. And I had Pokemon, Pokemon Gold, the original one. And I would just be playing that. I was specifically at Bellsprout Tower. And I think around that point, the battery died. So that was cool. Alright, so we got this guy. This guy is, this is the idle animation. And as far as the frames, it appears that he just stays like this. If you had a Game Boy Color, a half dozen double A's would have had you set for a month. Yeah, imagine things happening. Alright, so we have an idle animation, which is basically just one frame. And then we have a new running, let's just call it run animation. And create this one. Okay, and then which frame is the running one? So this is, okay, this is the jumping one. Running would be frames 3 and 4. So this would be, actually, is frame 0 also? Got frame 0. Frame 1. No, frame 2. And then frame 3. Yeah, why is it not playing? Is it because I've set it incorrectly? When I find out a big storm might be coming, I make sure my Switch and 3DS are charged up. That's a good idea. Never had fresh AA batteries, found them from toys being sold at a thrift store. You never, not even rechargeable ones? Literally never. Why is this not animating? Oh, because I didn't set the value. Okay, so it starts off, it's on 2, and then it goes to 0, perhaps. And you add a new, nope, you add a new frame. And this one is, was that 4 or 3? No, that's the wrong one, it's 3. Okay, and then you gotta set the length of the animation. 0.1, 0.2, and you zoom in. Is this even the right thing? How do we play this one? Okay, you gotta loop it. It doesn't, okay, maybe you don't have the middle one. Perhaps the middle one doesn't exist. Perhaps it's like this. Okay, and then the length of the animation perhaps is 0.4. Or is that too long? That seems alright. Okay, and then you have another animation. This one's going to be jump. Have I checked the bonus challenges? Oh, I didn't realize that there were bonus challenges. I probably should have read the whole thing. Bonus challenges, single pack. Your game should only use a single asset pack. No text, mouse only. Co-op, symmetry, cross-dimensional. I don't think any of these stand out to me as something I want to add to my game. Besides maybe this one. This one could be possible. but I don't know. No text at all, that's gonna be kind of hard. Actually, no, I feel like, would it be that hard? If we could demonstrate the idea that the guy just runs out of power and dies if you walk too far from the power cord. It's possible. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. That's crazy. Alright, so we can set frame. Frame, add this one here. It's going to be frame 1. That's the jumping frame. But they didn't set it for some reason. Why was it not being set? Is this not frame 2? It's frame 1. Okay, so we have the jump. Set that to 0.1 seconds. The themes I've done and finished are disaster every 10 seconds, harvest tiny creatures, built to scale. I remember I played some built to scale games. That was GMTK, right? And then at night everything changed. See, I feel like those are I want to say better prompts. Is that power is a bit too, like, it applies to everything. These things are a bit more directed, right? Disaster, you know, every 10 seconds, that's a good one. Harvest, tiny creatures. I don't know. I was hoping it would be a bit more specific. If you look at like the past year's jams, connection, that's like, you know, I don't know, that's all right. Exploration, okay, that one is also kind of general. Growth, that one, okay, I think this one's a good one. You could like plant and stuff like that. It's a feature, not a bug, that's a good one. Time travel, that's a specific enough one, that's good. What is this one? Unlikely combinations, also a bit more specific. Curse, that's a good one. Rotation, also a good one. Power, I'm not a fan of this one. It's a bit too... it's too much. Rather, it's not enough. It's too simple. Alright, so we have a player controller. Let's go add a world. What do we have this as? Screens. Screens. Create new folder. Levels. I like my themes to have a lot of options, but not to be too generic. Yeah, that's my issue. This one is too much. Power feels like the theme that works best with VFX. Impact frames, speed, intent dashes, freeze frames. But that's not really like, it's not like a game dev thing though. Like, I guess it kind of is, but those are just things that are in games rather than the game being built around it. I don't know. Create a new scene. This one's going to be called World. Alright, and then we have a tile set. Tile map layer. Creating a game around visual flair is an expression of power. Perhaps. Do I have a concept? Maybe. This platformer guy does not have much power. You must I don't even know if they have an electrical outlet asset. But my idea was this guy is his batteries are not that good, and so you have to maintain power. You can't be too far away from a power cord. And then if you are, then you die or something. Yeah, robot power. Have you thought of locked in syndrome? I have not, but I know what that is. But that's too scary. It's too much. What am I doing? Where's the thing? Where's my thing where I choose the graphics? Alright, you go to tile map layer, you go to tile set, and you add a new atlas. And it's going to be, let's move this one, platformer pack tile sheet. Move that there. A game about being powerless? Yeah, but then at some point you gotta have power, right? I don't know. I overscoped so bloody hard on that one. First time I'd done a 4-day jam. I've only ever done 1 month or 48 ones solo. 1 month is pretty long for a jam. When I think of game jams, I feel like 1 week is like it's like a good amount of time. I don't know. All right, we got various textures. Wait, what the heck? That is not the size that I wanted. What are the dimensions of these textures? This is too much. This is too large. Tile set. Okay, it's not a 16 by 16. It is 16 times 4. 16 times 4. I would like to delete this one, please. And then go back and add again. Disaster. That's a good one. I think the interesting part of power is power overwhelming. Me when the power is whelming. Too much. There's too much whelms. Okay, we have this thing set up. Wait, this is the wrong size. It should actually be times 2. It's 128. That's huge. It's like that's like the size of an entire screen in Vacuous Sugar Quest. It's crazy. Disaster was a good one. Did really well in that jam. It was a really small one. One small community was involved. The Disaster Jam. And this guy's updating his fedora. Standing rock has potential energy. If it falls, has something maybe something manipulating the ground to move it. A standing rock? What? What the? Alright, so you can use this thing to paint. You can assign physics layers to these. So we go here, we add an element. It has collision layer of ground. You don't really need a collision mask. And then all you gotta do is you select the property, physics layer 0, and then you just draw everything that is collidable. And then what? Okay, assumingly these are one-way platforms. And I think you could set that, right? Is that a thing? Isn't there a thing where you can make this a one-way platform? A solid rock is powerless, can't do anything, nor feel, nor think. I don't know. Anyone in a position of power right now? Is anyone even powerful? Or is everyone simply not? I do plan on doing the next GMTK though. Yeah, that one is soon, right? I might also try participating in that one. Possibly. I don't know. It's possible. 12 days? Is that one 1 week long? Or shorter? I don't know. So weekend jam. Okay, that's good. That's a good length. 4 days. Okay, that's like a reasonable amount of time. I could consider doing that one. How do I make sure these are aligned? There's like a way that you could set these up such that they're aligned, so that they snap. Yeah, we got 0.2. What does the 0 to 2 even mean here? Reset to default shape. And then It's not this one. It's not this one. I pressed the wrong button. Shift. What does the 0:3 even mean? I need to get better sleep, not try to learn a bunch of new things during the project and not overscope. Yeah, that's an issue with games. Is the game ends up being, it takes too long because there's too many features. And I just don't know. Alright, so this should be these should be one-way platforms. Perhaps. And I believe there is some way to make sure that they are terrains. Terrain set physics. Physics. Welcome Denchi, thank you for the 40 months. Polygon 0, one-way on. Okay, we have one-way platforms. Rat. I was messing around with lighting not long before the jam, wanted to include that. Classic mistake. Adding lighting to things. Will he move freely or square by square? I had planned on it to move freely. But square by square could also be a thing. You did one Game Jam GMTK. When was that? Which one did you do? Okay, so we have these. Did I set? I don't think I set this one. I did set this one. Okay, and then you go. Okay, I have not used the built-in Godot tile map editor in quite some time. The dice one. Oh, I remember that one. That was a classic one. Maybe I should stick with what I can't talk with what I know, and just install the Better Terrain plugin because I did enjoy that one. That is my go-to plugin for this kind of stuff. All right, let's go. Let's go install Better Terrain. I don't actually need it, but I'm more familiar with it. Okay, we install. It has the word better. It's literally so much better. Okay, then you go project settings, plugins, enable, and then it restarts. Ludum Dare, I forgot that existed. That was in fact a thing that exists. True. So true. Did it not save? No, okay, it's saved. Good. Have I tried the worst terrain plugin? No, that doesn't exist. What if you make it? You could consider making the worst terrain plugin. Oh, this is too zoomed. This is too. These assets are too big. Okay, so we have what do we got here? We got grass, dirt. We have dirt. And then you say which one of these are dirt? All of these are dirt. But actually, maybe no, that's decoration. This is dirt. That's dirt, and this is. Let's just use grass for now. And then you gotta be like, okay, this one, it's got like stuff behind it, right? And now you can draw tiles. Whoa, can you believe that? That's crazy. Godot's on my to learn list eventually, but I'm comfortable with GMS2, Game Maker Studio 2. Hey, what the heck is this? Also, what are these? What? These are not aligned in such a way that makes sense. What is it? Why is it doing this? Hold on. Maybe this one should not have. Okay, that's what it is. Oh no, this line is from this. That's the screen region. It's fine. Don't you worry. It's actually totally fine. All right, project setting. Let's set the size to 1080p. The viewport width 1920 by 1080. And then we have what do we have? Initial screen. What is it called? It's in advanced settings. 1280 by 720. Okay, so now we have a more reasonable size. Let's delete this. Okay, so we have this stuff. We got some platforms. And then we got to put the player here. You put this player right here. Go to the scene. You add a script to the player. Player.gd. Oh, it was supposed to extend the usual script. Delete this script. Okay, player, attach script. The script does not exist. How do I detach? Detach script. Alright, and then attach script. Character body 2D, template, basic movement. What was that sound? Do you hear that? There's like a beeping sound. I don't know what that was. Alright, we have a character body, class name, player. That was an Android. I don't even have Android. What the heck? Chat app. Oh, I checked my phone though. I didn't get any notifications. What is this? I also didn't get anything on my desktop. That was you? It was not you. Alright, okay. No main scene has been selected. Okay, let's choose the world scene. Set this as the current scene. Okay, we got a player. The player is fallen. The player is fallen down. Excuse me. Oh, the player needs to have collision. No, that's fine, right? Should the player not be on screen? None of this stuff is on the screen, despite it actually being on screen. Okay, what if we move the player up? What is the player sprite? It's a Game Boy. It's John Game Boy. Wait, but why is the tile map? This thing is not the same resolution. Why is that? Okay, what if I just set it like this for now? Okay, we have a character that kind of moves. That's cool. We should adjust the speeds though. The speed is not that big, but I should also commit this. This is going to be initial commit. Git is not a Git repository. Well, it is now. It is now a Git repository. Git add dot git commit initial commit. Git init. So true, so true. Alright, then we install a plugin known as... What was the name of that plugin? Everyone knows. It's called State Charts. Godot State Charts. Download it, install it. I believe this has examples, which I don't want to include. Where's the Gantt chart plugin? There probably is one. We don't need examples. Get those out of here. Welcome, Sheriff Pumpkin. The greeter, the guy who greets. Project settings, plugins. Turn that plugin on. And then you gotta reload, obviously. Because if you don't reload, sometimes things just don't work. They simply are not valid. Alright, so now that we have that thing, you want to add a state chart. This is going to be so simple though. So okay, you add a state chart. You add a... So there are several states. You could have a grounded state. We have a parallel state. Okay, and then in this parallel state, you have a compound state. This is going to be grounded status. Okay, this thing will be updated when you're on the ground. This will affect whether you can jump or not. And then in this one, you have grounded. Grounded. Is this a power pin pun? No, but it could be. Airborne. We got several states. And then we got grounded status. And then you have, what did I call this? I tried doing something like this earlier this week, and I forgot. Okay, well this controls whether you can jump. So let's see, grounded, we have several state transitions to airborne. This one will take you to the airborne state, and then it will trigger on the event known as jump. And then in the airborne state, you can trigger to the grounded state when there is a grounded event. Okay, and then when you're grounded, there are things. There are several things, but first we gotta wire things up. Wires. Wolfie. That's me. Hey, that's me. State chart. Have I played Wordplay? I played the demo, yes. It was when it was out for Steam Next Fest. I did in fact play it. It was a good game. Northern Line was playing it today. He was having a good time, probably. He got legendary status. I do remember that. So true. It did happen. Okay, so we have void. Okay, when you enter this state, what do we have here? We have state chart dot. There's like a send event, right? Okay, so send event. We're gonna record whether we were previously grounded. Var was grounded is false. It is quite a Wolfie core game. Okay, so was grounded is false. On every physics frame, we will check whether we are grounded. Is on floor, right? Var is grounded is equal to is on floor. And then if was grounded, if not, if is grounded and not was grounded, state chart dot emit, what's it called? Send event grounded. Okay, then we gotta add some inputs. Project settings, input map. That new action, move up, move down, move left, move right, jump. Alright, so move up clearly is the up button. Move down is the down button. Move left is the left button. Move right, as you might expect, is the right button. Now jump, it could have several buttons. It could be space. It could be Z. That's right, Z. We're saying Z now. And then you want to set, you want to get the movement axis on every frame. So let's see, on physics process, input.get vector It's going to be negative x is going to be move left, move right. Positive y is move down. No, that's the other one. Move up. Positive y is move down. True. It's crazy how I have an idea for this game jam that might cut it, not require much skill to execute, and absolutely not do it because I'm busy enough. I mean, you could consider doing it. Have you looked at their assets though? Have you confirmed that your idea fits with their assets? I mean, you also don't have to do it in Godot. You could literally do something else. Alright, so this is movement axis. Power stances. Move vector is this thing. State chart dot set variable. What is it called? I gotta look up the documentation. Simple rhythm game where you strike a pose that evokes power. Well, what kind of power though? Electrical power? Perhaps. Okay, there are some variables you can set. How do you change the variable? Transition variable. Power posing. Transition guard. Okay, expression. Set expression property. Movement is move vector. You should set the move vector to be this thing. Okay, so then you should also add what do we set here? We should also set input. This is what I want. You want class input, player input, var move vector 2.0 var jump pressed. It's false. All right, so then let's see. We started off. We have a var input, player input dot new, tay posting status 989338. So true. I don't know what that links to, but I'm sure it's relevant somehow. Alright, so you got player input new. You have to set player input. Sorry, what? Oh no, I've closed some things. Input dot move is equal to this thing. Player input this, got him. So true. Welcome, Yurga. And then input dot jump pressed is equal to input dot action. No, this thing should be set in unhandled input. Function unhandled input. If event dot is action pressed. Well, okay, this would be if it was just pressed, which actually is fine. And you do jump pressed input.jump press equals true. Else, well, okay, we could just do this. Simply just do this. All right, so state chart set expression property input is going to be input. All right, So now we have the ability to change from jumping to not jumping. What am I doing here? Airborne, grounded. If action was pressed, jump. Okay, so you can go to the airborne state, not on the jump event, but rather on the... Wait, no, it could be an event. It could be state chart dot send event. Oh no, this doesn't work though. This doesn't make sense. Okay, let's not have this. We don't need jump press. None of this is related to the theme at all. This is just like placeholder platformer stuff that I probably could have prepared in advance. Send event jump. Okay, on event jump, then you enter the airborne state. Okay, and then once you went to enter, yeah, once you have taken this state. Oh, this is not gonna go well. I feel like this entire stream, I'm not gonna get anything done. Is that I will underestimate the time it takes to implement anything. Okay, so when you enter the airborne state, if you have taken the state from grounded, what's it called? There's like a, okay, this thing right here. Connect to airborne taken. This will be on jump. On jump. You entertained us. Is this true though? Are you even entertained right now? No, this should be on airborne enter, right? No, because then you could be, this should just be jumping, right? Should this not just be jumping? Grounded status, grounded and jumping. To jumping. Right, okay, so once you enter the jumping state, state entered, connect, on jumping state entered, then you have velocity y equals jump velocity. Right. And then you can remove this. And then what? Can we even jump? It doesn't even work. If input.jump press, okay, that's not a thing that exists. We can simply return here. You know what? Even just remove this. It's not even needed. It doesn't even work. I did all this and it doesn't even work. Okay, so grounded, you can go to jumping on the jump event. I never actually set the jump event. That's the issue here. Oh, this should be if event dot is action pressed jump. That's what I was missing. You were asleep for 20 minutes. Yo, you can jump now? We can now jump. No, I did notice just there that the player, okay, you can jump. It feels very wonky though. So it appears that you can even jump when you're here, which is quite strange. Wait, you can jump in the air? You can double jump? I didn't add in double jump. Why can he double why can he double jump? You can send the jump event if you are in the jumping transition. If you are grounded and you are not, oh, I never set was grounded. Okay, so we have was grounded equals is grounded. Okay, so now we should not be able to double jump. That's good. We also need a flip node. You gotta have node 2D. This one is going to be known as the flip node. You also got to put this one here. Alright, then you put the sprite and collision shape inside flip node. Sorry, not collision shape. The collision shape doesn't need to be there. Flip node, though, that'll be used to flip the sprite. And then, okay, so if input.move dot x greater than 0, then flipNode.scale.x equals the player by default is facing the left, so this will be -1. L if input.move.x is less than 0, flipNode.scale.x equals 1.0. Alright, so now we have the ability to turn around. It's actually not true at all because I have spelled this wrong. Yup, it's inverted. Okay. It should be 1 and -1. Okay, we can now move. Okay, so then now what? Good question. Good question. Also, when we enter the jumping state, we should play the jumping animation. Okay, so on ground state entered, you should go to animation player, you should go to advanced settings. This is a very advanced setting, by the way. You may not know about this one. You gotta look for string name. Where is string name? I do not see string name. It's right there, actually. It's literally right there. You can pass in things here. Okay, so on grounded, you can pass an idle. Animation player, play, connect. You don't need any code for this. It's actually quite simple. State entered, connect, animation player, play, string name, jump. Imagine looking like you're jumping instead of just declaring you're jumping. So true. So true, though. Alright, so if you have moved left, well, let's just take a look at this. Oh, shoot, he's jumping. He's literally jumping, though. Alright, we got jumping moving. Working, I mean. Jumping is working. So now we have to make it so that he can run. A running animation. So then, let's see, how do I set this? If input move this thing, but this depends on what state you're in though. So we should have a running or not running state. We should have a, it's going to have a new state, new compound state. This is going to be the running moving status, I guess. I don't know. So in moving status, we have idle. And we also have moving. But then this is like if you're grounded, though. Wait a second. Wait a second. This gets a bit more complicated. When you're grounded, it should play the moving animation. When you're jumping, it should not. Should I in fact have these things be separate? There is some way to check the status. The jumping status, we could check whether we are in the jumping status. Okay, this thing should only control whether you are able to jump. The actual thing that chooses the animation should perhaps be in here. but that's kind of complicated. I don't know what I'm doing. Moving status. So when you have pressed the button, you should be moving. Actually, you know, I could have it be simpler. It could simply be if you are grounded, then just play the animation. If is grounded, then you gotta have a reference to the animation player, obviously. I just call this animation player. And then here, if is grounded, animation player dot play run. You can do the same here. There's probably a better way to do it. And by probably, I mean definitely. If you are not moving, then you simply do nothing. Now, welcome Amd995. I think you were playing Danganronpa, probably. Welcome Jishwan, welcome Amd, welcome Castelotl. It was in fact Danganronpa. I hope you had a good time. How goes the fish game? No, this is a different game. There's a game jam going on right now. The theme is in fact power. You have to make a game based on this theme somehow, using assets available from this royalty-free asset pack. And I don't really have a good idea. My idea is kind of just like, we got this guy here, right? This little guy. This guy is powered somehow. Oh, look, he's stopped moving. And I was like, okay, what if this guy was connected to like an outlet or something? And then his batteries don't work. And then if you are too far away from an outlet for too long, you die. Right, that's power related. Also, welcome Adnador, or Invargus, I believe. How do I get into a game jam without knowing any programming? You could do art. You could do brainstorming ideas. You could do music, sound effects, a lot of things. Many things you could do. Is that the guy from Adventure Time? No, this guy is legally distinct. He is not related at all. Totally different guy. Am I game dev by trade or as a hobby? It is a hobby. I am a professional software dev though, but it's mostly for back-end software dev. Nothing to do with game dev. What if I have zero talent? There's developers who have made games with zero talent. So that's, you know, it's good enough. You could even use just text. You know, there are games that have no art. Read your own adventure. Choose your own adventure. That's a type of game, right? There's a lot of games you could make. Okay, so if you're moving here, if you are grounded, then you play the run animation. Toby Fox is a musician who wanted to make a game. I guess you could put it that way, yes. I'm gonna drink water though. It is 7:04 p.m. Perfect time to hydrate. You should also make sure you drink some water. Alright, I've hydrated. Why are we bonking? Because that makes the cup flip upside down. There's a time-honored tradition. If you send the bonk while this cup is here, it flips. Look at that. That's why. That's why we do it. Anyway. Okay, what am I doing here? We got if is grounded, you can play the run animation. which is not necessarily what I want here. What am I doing? What am I even doing? Am I right, guys? What if instead of having grounded status, we simply just have this be the state? Have we considered this? Have I considered this? No, I have not considered this. Welcome to Just Wired Differently. Sounds pirate software code. That guy is in fact writing some code. Grounded status versus 3.3 volt. That's an electrical engineering reference. I know. I know many things, and that is one of them. Alright, what if instead of grounded, it is idle? No, there's gotta be something, right? What am I doing? I got moving status and grounded status. How do people set animations for this stuff? Moving status. There's no real way to check the oh wait, what if I simply... What am I doing? What if we have an is airborne? I guess that's the same thing as is grounded, the opposite of is grounded, huh? I find hardware more difficult than software. It is. I was an electrical engineering major, and that stuff is really hard, and I did not want to do it. So I did software instead, and it's much easier. And that's cool. Alright, so if you are moving, if you are grounded, you can play the run animation. Actually, hold on. This thing, if it's not... If input move X is not 0, if input move X is greater than 0, then you do this. And then you can do... I guess then it would be implied that it's the other one. So you could do this. And then if you are grounded, you can play run. Else, animation player, play jump. Because you are jumping. You are in the air. Okay, what about this? Okay, he should stop though. He should stop. So if move X is 0, then you should play idle. No, this is getting really messy. I don't like this. Unless you are in the air, in which case you should play the jump animation. But no, it should not be like this. This is the reason why we had the state machine in the first place, was to avoid stuff like this. And yet, I have squandered it once more. I was in EE2, I specialized in CMOS circuit design, but then life brought me to writing software. That and the desire to make more money. See, that's the messed up part, is that I can't say that word. Electrical engineering, I don't know why I could not say it, I just combined it as electro-engineering. Electrical engineering is harder than software, and yet it pays so much less. So like, I don't know, why would I even do it? Am I right, guys? So true. Okay, we can increase speed. We could also increase the velocity. You have job security? I have job security. Okay, we're jumping. Maybe that jump is a bit too much. Maybe speed could be 500. Okay, gravity should also be increased. Get gravity. Okay, we're gonna have a constant for gravity. Set that to like, I don't know, 1600. Gravity. Velocity times gravity. Velocity.y. Gravy. Okay, this seems alright. It does feel a bit floaty though. What if we increased it even more? What if this was like 3,000? 3,000 gravity. Okay, that feels a bit snappier. But also kind of low. We could increase jump velocity to be 1,000. It feels so floaty. Why does it feel so floaty? Whatever, maybe it's fine. What if gravity was 4,000? That seems good, right? 4,000, and then jump velocity was like 1,300? No. What if it was 1,200? The lack of sprites. Well, I have no control over this, unfortunately. These are the assets that I was given that I must use. Okay, I mean, we have a basic platformer. Now what? Now what? Now we have to actually implement the game. Oh no. Maybe I didn't need this to be at 2x size. I could have just downloaded the regular size. What if I went back and did that? What if we took these ones and we put them here? Oh, but now I have to like resize every, you know, no, it's fine, it's fine. Let's not do that. None of this really matters. Let's delete these. These don't need to be here. Delete. All right. We got a guy who can jump. Okay, so now we gotta implement the power part of it. But first, I believe there are some background images we can use. Background. All right, you got background elements. Redux. Background elements regular. No, let's do this one. Oh wait, these are not. I thought this was the actual background. Where is the actual background? Simplified platformer. Background. Background elements. Do you have to make these yourself? You have to like compose these things together. There's gotta be one that already exists, right? Surely one that I could just put in there. There has to be. There must be. What if I just download this and then see if they already have examples? Backgrounds. Background castles. Oh no, they do have, okay. Background color. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. Background colored grass. Background empty. Background forest. I like the forest one. Let's have background forest. Let's put that here. Is Kenny a single person, like solo artist, like Not like available? What do you mean? Not like available? What does that mean? I believe it is a solo artist though. Alright, so we have world. Oh, not in the dating sense. Wait, what? No, I assume you didn't mean they were single as in dating single. How did I find this game jam? It's one of the big game jams. If you literally go on itch.io and click on jams, it's one of the big ones up here. Bracky's Game Jam, GMTK, Kenney. 7,000 people joined. 7,485. Alright, so we got some background. Let's put a, what is this thing called? Whatever, Sprite 2D. And then this Sprite 2D is going to be the background forest. Okay, but it must also be parallax node 2D. How do I do this? How do we even do this? Reparent a new node, parallax 2D. Who rates and finds the winner? Popular vote, aka likes. Yeah, I believe the people that participate in the game jam, they get to review other games after submitting their own. And they choose what's good and what's not good. Probably. I don't know. I assume so. Or maybe Kenney chooses. I don't know. There's many options for how things work. I don't know how this one works. I think it's by voting from other people. Alright, so we have forest background. Ooh, look, it's already looking so much nicer. Parallax 2D. Okay, we have scroll scale. Repeat. Repeat size is... How big is this image? How do I check? This is 1024. Okay. Got this one right here. Oh, it's because I didn't set the what's it called? The resize thing. Stretch mode should be, is that canvas items maybe? Is that it? Ah, that's what it is. Now it's not so zoomed in. Now it looks nicer. Alright, so now we can lower these platforms. Oh shoot, what if we had this? What if it was like this? You can also lower things much more. Okay. Okay, so we are here. We are in fact moving. Why did the music stop? Excuse me. It's just very low. All right, so we have a basic platformer. It doesn't have any of the nice things like coyote time or jump buffering. We have something basic. Okay, so now for the power part of this. We have to somehow add an electrical outlet. Do they even have that? If not, we would have to add some other thing. Where is that tile set? Platformer, assets, was it this one? Simplified platformer? Yes, it was this one. We could consider using one of these as power. Maybe this thing is power. We could have a wire come out of this one and then attach to the player, perhaps. Let's try that. Okay, so in our tile map, we have this right here. We have the physics layer. We have this guy. And then you can click on this guy and you could paint some stuff. Put this one there. Okay, so we could maybe like on player collision with this thing, we could draw a line between this node and the player. Although I think I saw here that they said you can't use any primitives, right? Using basic primitives, so maybe I'm not allowed to draw a line. I have to like find an asset that resembles a power cord that I have to use. Is that a thing here? What do they have? 2D platformer. Platformer pack. About this one. Wait, these could be used as lines. This kind of looks like a power cord in some ways. Or this thing, I could use this thing. Maybe. There's gotta be something. Platformer art extended. That's not even it. Winter, mushrooms, candy, buildings. What's in the buildings? Nothing. Extended. They got ghosts, frogs, land. What is this? There's a lot of stuff here. Alright, this asset pack, it has it's got these things, it's got, oh wait, this is power. They got like a switch. You could perhaps use that to turn on or off the power. Is that a rope? Hold on. That rope could be used as the power cord. Also, they got many other things here. They got Nintendo. They do have Nintendo. It's literally right there. It's right there. They also have swords. They have other such things. Switch to a... No, you were not even the first person to say that in recent memory. Can't believe this. Okay. Does the rope simulator thing that I have even allow swapping out the texture? I don't know. Let's commit this though. Okay, we got many things. We got state chart, we got transitions. Add basic player controller. Alright, we have we got the basic player controller. Okay, so we got to take this thing right here, this tile map layer. Get that out of there. We gotta create a new scene that has that specific thing. And how do I do that? First of all, we gotta save this tile set. save as tileset.trez. Alright, then we gotta make a new thing that is a power source. Create new scene. Let's add a new, what do we call this? Player is a static body, right? Static body 2D. Because it does not move. And then you gotta add tile map layer. No, it's gotta be sprite 2D. In that sprite 2D, you gotta set the texture. You gotta choose the region. The region is specifically grid snap. This is gonna be offset is 128 by 128. Sorry, that's gonna be step. It must be how do I set this? It's gotta be this. What? Excuse me? It appears that I cannot set this value somehow. Why am I unable to set this value? What? What if it was 64? 64. No, 128 was good. 128 by 128. Oh, that's a big number. Okay, what if I manually set the offset? What if I simply unset this? Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, but it's not that one though, it's this one. Okay, so now we have a sprite 2D. This one is going to be power source. And then it's gotta also, let's convert this to a scene first. You go to entities, you go to new folder, it's gonna be power source. Alright, that's power source scene. And then you gotta add a collision shape. What kind of plug? We don't even know. No one really even knows. Uma Musume, do you hear our RP is full? What is that? Oh, that's the race point. I gotta load up Uma Musume and do a race. Sorry, my stamina. This is the messed up part about gacha games. Is when your variables are full, you gotta start doing things. This may be enough to get me to stop playing the game. Because yesterday I was like, oh, I have so much like, they call it TP. I don't know what the T stands for. Is that trainer points? It's basically their stamina system that recovers every like once in a while. You just have to like, you know, just log on and make sure you're not wasting time. Welcome Plush Mayhem. What were you doing? And by Plush Mayhem I mean Tiff. Was it not you who said I'm not going to use up all my stamina? It was me, and I was a fool. I was a fool. You're streaming retro. It could literally be anything. Welcome Gabriel Mobius. I hope you were doing well. I was programming a game, but my stamina is full in Uma Musume, so I'm doing a race. You get to listen. Oh, we got a win. Gold ship versus gold ship. Win. This is Daiwa Scarlet versus Daiwa Scarlet. I've also won. This is Bakushin. I've lost. I'm dead. This is Haru. Oh, she's also lost. Vodka versus vodka. I have won. Okay. I won the encounter. New high score. Very cool, very cool. Okay, that's it. That's enough of it. Also, welcome Kafru. Is Dragon Warrior 7? Isn't it Dragon Quest now, though? Is it still Dragon Warrior? I was tempted to do the Kenny Jam, but I don't think I have the energy this way. Well, good for you, because the theme is power. We simply just don't have enough power to do this. Am I right, guys? It's theme relevant. You could submit nothing and be like, this is relevant because I don't have the power to think of an idea. Dragon Quest sucks. It is now, but it wasn't then. Oh, that is true. When did they switch over to Dragon Quest? I don't even know. Anyway, sorry. My game idea, which is not very well formulated. The theme is power, and I spent a lot of time trying to think of anything that I could possibly do. And I could not really think of anything. And then I was like, what if we were like a little robot guy? And that robot guy did not have enough power to keep moving. And he would be plugged into like a power source like this one. And then, you know, you can move a certain distance, and then after you move far enough, you'll die. You have to connect with the power source regularly. And I don't think it's actually that good of an idea, but I got nothing else to go on. And so I have done it. Oh, with Dragon Quest VIII, I see. That's like pretty recent, right? Probably. When did Dragon Quest VIII come out? I don't even know. Okay, we got 128 by 128. Transform. Unset that position. PS2, wait, what? What is the most recent Dragon Quest? 10, right? 12? Oh, it's 12. Oh, alright, I don't know. I mean, what about 12? Where's 12? Oh, it's not out. I see, it's not out yet. Long silence. This fellow knows nothing of the slimes. They had an MMO? I had no idea. It's crazy. The MMO is good, but I've never heard anyone talk about it. Is it really good, though, if I've never heard anyone talk about it? If it would consume all my life, it were MapleStory. This guy loves MapleStory. I remember I was there. He loved MapleStory, and now he hates it. They refuse to give it to us English speakers. Oh, it was never released in English? I see. I did hear people talk about Dragon Quest X, but it has no English release. Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's how long ago? I'm sure that was like a long time ago, right? 10 years ago? 15? It can't be 15. 5 years ago. It has translation patches, and the first 2 expansions are free. Still up to this day. That's crazy. That's like Final Fantasy XIV free up until level something, including the critically acclaimed what is it, Heaven Sword or whatever. It has deleted your message. You have posted a link to wikipedia.org. It's not allowed. Heaven Sword sucks though. Isn't it critically acclaimed though? Don't people love it? I don't actually know anything about it. But they're Square Enix. I know that. I am aware of this. Okay, so we have created a power source, which does nothing, by the way. But we should perhaps have an area 2D. It's going to be collision shape. We could have a circular radius around this. And then if the player is in this radius, they could receive power. Perhaps. Perhaps, maybe, mayhaps. Collision, we're going to have a new collision layer. It's going to be called, what do I call it? Something? No, the second layer should be the player layer. The layer that has the player. Collision layer. Player. Okay, and then collision layer 1 is going to be terrain, as we all know. Collision layer 3 is going to be power. Alright, so power source. We have power. It should have collision mask that interacts with player. And then you gotta have a script, a power source script. Class name power source extends static body 2D. Okay. And then in this power source, we're going to have a body entered. On area 2D body entered, you will print hello. Okay, we have now detected whether the player is within range. Once you enter range, we can trigger some logic. Body entered, woo woo. So true. Alright, so now we have detection. We can draw like a line from the middle to where the player is. Perhaps. Is that a thing that I want to do though? But then what? But then what? I don't know. I don't think this is a I don't think this idea has any weight. This game idea is kind of washed. I don't know about this one. Cause like with this, you gotta think of like levels, you know? Level design, that takes a lot of time. That's why instead of making levels, you just like randomly generate stuff. That's why you can just make like a Vampire Survivors. You don't need levels for that. Just like throw a bunch of enemies on screen. Just have like a bunch of power-ups. Power-ups, just like the theme of the game jam. Whoa, I should have done that. Level design, but your game is surprisingly hilly. Well, the hill is level in many places. It's like when you zoom in, this is like the shoreline problem. Is that if you zoom in far enough, it is level. Otherwise, you know, if you zoom out far enough, it could be quite hilly. You could think of like an antenna that shows power in a beam, and Game Boy can only walk in it. No, but you should be allowed to leave after a certain number of steps. Maybe I shouldn't have made this a platformer. Because like platformers have like weird physics. I probably should have made this like a top-down grid-based game. I think that would make sense. You can move a certain distance away from this thing. Man, I wasted all my time. Yeah, it's basically a puzzle game. Now, I was thinking like a puzzle platformer, but like, I don't know. I feel like I could also have made this in Pico 8. They do have some Pico 8 graphics. Don't they? I thought they had them. What? Didn't they have Pico? Did they not have a Pico 8 city? Pico plat. Wait, what? Oh, wait. Why was that not there? I mean, I could have I could have used this Pico 8. This is also a platformer though. This one though, push power boxes in such a way that you can reach the exit without running out of charge. Bonus points for insulating blocks that don't let power through. It's too complicated. I might just give up on this. I don't know if I can... I don't know if I have a good idea that I feel confident in. Game dev's pretty hard. Okay, what if these guys were robots? And then they could push things. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense, guys. Confidence. I feel like I need to think of something else, though. Like, although this kind of works, I don't think this is that good. Power Sokoban. Yes, Soko D's got him. Got him. No, there's gotta be something. I will probably, if I stream more of this tomorrow, I'll probably show up and it'll be like completely different. It'll be like, hey, remember that platform idea we had? It sucks. Here's actually an action battling roguelike. It's got vampire survivor elements and tower defense. And there's a lot of power. Wait, what about power overwhelming? The StarCraft cheat command. That makes you invincible. What if you could be invincible? A game where you by default have power, and then sometimes it gets taken away. Power. And then become powerless. I feel like if I didn't already make Vacuous Sugar Quest, I probably, for this game jam, probably would have done like the thing where like you get items and then you get power-ups. Metroidvania style game, like, oh look, now you have candy. Now you can jump. Now you can move to the left. Now you can I don't know. Something. Power. I wouldn't do that to a woman. Would you do that to a man, though? Is this not gender inequality? Can't believe this. It will be an analogy for becoming old. You lose your power. You rely more on your friends. You're powerless. Pow. I don't know. You could Google the word power and see what comes up. Didn't I do that? I'm pretty sure I tried that. I looked up what did I even search today? I searched some things. Types of power. What if I just searched power? Power, it's a movie. Power lines, you got a lot of power lines. Power Rangers. Power Rangers. Fallout TV show. Power tools. Electricity. Power. I really want to like, I feel like the 2048 idea is good though. Something to do, like Suika game was really good. It had powers of 2, pretty much. Do something with squaring. Yeah, that's 2048. Something related to exponents. You could do power electric to it the power electric to it what? Do like power. Electric to it excludes electric. I don't know what that means. So it excludes power electric, so it excludes electric. Power, oh, you mean, I see, I see, that's, I see. I didn't realize the minus was a part of the thing. Oh, I don't know. Power button? Power from Chainsaw Man? What kind of game do I want to make? I don't even know. I listed several ideas. Pinball would be a decent one. 2048. Space Invaders. An incremental game. I feel like incremental games are pretty easy to make. A cookie clicker like game, if I could somehow implement power. Somehow. I don't know. There's something. There could be something to this. If not, I will just do something else tomorrow. Supply something with power. Regaining strength. Like in Vacuous Sugar Quest, where you lose your strength and then you can regain it by eating foods. What about a sailor? Solar sail, because no power, it just redirects it. I don't know if they have any sailing 2D assets though. I like the losing power ideas versus the gaining power ideas. Well, are we not all simply losing and gaining power every day though? What if I did something entirely UI based? What if the power was simply okay, here's what one thing. What if we had do they have like a power off button somewhere? If I can make it, what if I made it such that the game is similar to like a desktop environment? You have like a pause menu, or in the bottom left there's like a power button, and then maybe things like, maybe this is the Vampire Survivors part. Many things are coming in from different parts of the screen, trying to click on the power off button, and then like you have to like stop them. Maybe you're like one cursor. You're like, maybe you're like this guy, and then you have many other cursors on the screen moving toward this power button, and you're like, no, you can't be doing that. And then you could try to fight them off. Maybe you turn into a sword. You can slash them. You could maybe get some power-ups, like an arrow, a bomb. One cursor. I thought Wolfie doesn't say swears. Curse or. I didn't say what the or was though. Now this all depends on them having a power icon, which they probably do. I would be surprised if they did not have a power icon in any of these. There has to be, right? There's gotta be. No, there is literally, okay, they have one. So it is valid. It is in their game icons pack. I could maybe, okay, so then, also thanks for stopping by, Deep Freeze. So they do have some UI packs here. I could make a desktop environment using this. It would look like this. Okay, and then maybe like these windows pop up, and then there's like cursors start spawning from them. And you gotta move your cursor over to click the X button, but then they're already on the screen, and they're trying to like go toward the shutdown button. Trying to turn off the power. Maybe. I mean, I feel like that's at least a unique idea, right? I feel like I don't think there will be many other people with something like that. An entirely UI-based game. I don't know, but I definitely don't have time to do it start on this stream. I could maybe consider starting it off stream. And then tomorrow, I guess we'll see. Tomorrow, if I start my stream and I don't have an idea, then we'll just do regular Variety Saturday. If I do think of something for this idea, I will work on it. UI-based game where cursors are trying to shut down your computer. I think that's the one that I feel like is maybe the most promising, the most unique. I should have started at 0001. For which one? For what? What's even? Okay, and then that's where the Vampire Survivors part comes in, because that is really easy to do. It's very easy to make a Survivors-like game. You just have things move toward a position. They have HP. They can be destroyed. You can edit, recolor, crop, rotate, flip, and scale, and combine assets. Oh yeah, but I mean that's like part of the game though. Obviously, you can crop. You would have to crop because it's part of a sprite sheet. You can flip things, you know, that's obvious because, you know, when you're playing a platformer, you gotta like flip things around, scale them. That makes sense, right? Because games can be at different scales. Recolor though, that also makes sense. Because some of these, you know, you can make them red. I don't know. Anyway, I'll try thinking up something. Oh, what if, you know, you could start off as this cursor, and then you could unlock other cursors. You could have a bomb cursor that destroys things within a radius. You could have what's that? A flashlight, a paint bucket, an eyedropper tool. What would that even do? I don't even know. A lot of things. You could resize windows. Maybe there's like some enemies that windows they like spawn things. You can't close the window, but you gotta like resize it. British be like, that's a torch. Oi, bruv, that's a torch. What would the enemies look like? They could be other cursors, but they're red or something. I don't know. An eyedropper could assume a cursor that was already in the level. What does that mean? Could assume a cursor that was already in the level. What are some options here? We got buttons. A lock button. Resize. You could like resize windows. Let's see, if you didn't have that power, you could get it just for that level. Oh, I see. Maybe. Doorway icons. Oh, this could be like, you know, that's the path to the next level, perhaps. I don't know. I will think about it. Isn't there already like there's like a Windows 98 themed Vampire Survivors? It's kind of like this one. Desktop Survivors. Although I don't think these things are trying to shut down your computer. I believe they are just trying to kill you as the player. Desktop Survivors. It's kind of like this, I guess. Except slightly different. Oh, anyway. I guess that's going to be it for this stream. And we'll try to think about this. But then again, I mean, I this is like the worst time to have started Uma Musume, because like now that my my stamina is full, I'm like, oh, I should be playing some races. This is the messed up part. What if I just didn't? But think of all the stamina I'm wasting, though. Think of all the wasted potential. I'm gonna close the game, though. We're gonna close everything. Say goodbye. You'll never see this guy ever again. This fellow. Oh, never mind. That's not true. Tomorrow's art is going. Tomorrow's art that I always draw beforehand is actually based on this guy. So you'll see something similar to this guy, but it'll be Wolfie colored and themed. He's playing the horse game inefficiently. Doesn't he even know that you only have like 100 stamina potions? It feels messed up calling it stamina, because stamina is a stat in the game. I believe what I'm talking about is actually called TP, but like stamina makes more sense to people that play gacha. You should not fall into the trap of living from stam to stam. Objectively true, but also. Anyway. Yes, I have in fact shut down the computer. Nelson Mandela Day, World Listening Day, Insurance Nerd Day, Sour Candy Day, Perfect Family Day. What does this word mean? Is this German? What is that? National Sour Candy Day. I don't know. Let's do National Sour Candy Day, Rain. There's probably some relevant emoji somewhere. Alright, who do I want to raid? Who's streaming today? On twitch.tv. Many people are in fact out here streaming. And which of these people do I want to send you to? Good question. Let's look for software and game development. Is there anyone doing software and game development that I want to raid? Okay, there is someone else doing Kenny Jam, but this is a German stream, I think. I mean, we do have Germans, but I feel like it would not make sense for me as someone who doesn't understand German. Alfie is streaming. Germa is streaming. It is apparently a street artist festival in Linz, Austria. Well, I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone doing game dev that I feel like raiding. Necessarily. So I will send you to someone else. Someone that I've raided before, probably. Alright, what about, dude, I don't know. That's the hard part. Okay, the hardest part of the stream. Send me to a psychiatrist? What? You should do that yourself. Alright, what about, what about this individual who is playing Final Fantasy III? Let's raid Colchis. / raid Colchis. Alright, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching. I will be back tomorrow with either Game Dev or Variety Saturday. I don't know yet. I will see where I'm at with this game idea. If there is no progress on game idea, I will just do the usual. But what if I show up tomorrow and it's like, whoa, look at this really cool game and it's so polished and well made. And you're like, what the? You did this in like the last some number of hours? That's crazy. I can't believe it. I don't know. It could happen. Or it could not happen. And you'll be like, what happened to the game? And I'll be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't really feel like doing it. That's a possibility. And you don't know until tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow to find out. Or don't. You could also not tune in. And you would not know. And I think that's cool. Sometimes knowing is half the... That knowledge is power, actually. That's literally the theme. Anyway, the rate's going. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.